Hi everyone, today we are going to make a adorable cartoon version of Baby Yoda or Grogu, whichever you would like to call him. So let's talk about some things you're going to need for today's class. The first thing you're going to need is a piece of paper, and I have one already clipped to my board. Then you're going to need your favorite watercolors using the same ones here, guys. Still have not updated those, but they're still doing pretty good. And then you're going to want to have a pencil and an eraser because we're going to sketch everything first. And then I have my permanent black marker to make my final lines, also to color in those eyes and that adorable little mouth. And then for the pink in the cheeks, the mouth, the tongue, and the ears, I have either a pink colored pencil, that's Prismacolor, and then I also have a pink Sharpie. So either one of these will work because they are both water resistant. So let's go ahead and get started with our Baby Yoda Grogu cartoon art today. I'm going to go ahead and adjust this a little bit. Make sure it's nice and flat. And we'll go ahead and start with our pencil. We are going to be using our eraser, so if you have an extra one, like a big one, keep it by you because we will definitely be giving Baby Yoda an eraser bath as we move on. First thing we want to do is find the middle of our paper, which is always a great place to start whenever we are drawing something. It gives us a good balance of our piece so our head isn't too big and our bottom isn't too big and we kind of know where everything's supposed to go. So we're going to find the middle. Let's see, mine should be right about here. So I just did a little black dot. You can kind of see it right there. And that is going to be where I'm going to make a little smile. Just a little smile. So I made a little smile in the center of my paper. This is actually going to be Baby Yoda's chin. So from this little smile, I'm going to come up and I'm going to make a bigger smile that's going to come right underneath it. So watch me first. See that? So there's a slight smile, a slight stretched out wide U shape right underneath my adorable smile, which is actually a chin. And this will give us a good balance for our Baby Yoda today. So Baby Yoda is wearing a very fashionable potato sack looking outfit today. So you can decide if you want it to be a hue of browns and ochre colors, which are kind of yellow. And we're going to continue with the neck of Baby Yoda's outfit. So right here, we're just going to make two little small curves on either side, like a parentheses. And then we're going to carry it out and around and up. So this is now the collar of our outfit. We're going to go ahead and stop there, and then we're going to go ahead and make our Baby Yoda's face and head. So this neck piece is really going to help us make the shape of our head and fan out our ears nicely. All right, so we're going to come up straight on both sides. It's going to look kind of funny at first, okay? Straight up on both sides. And then a nice big hill shape for the head here. And don't worry about those extra lines because you will be erasing them later on. Kind of looks like a spaceship right now. Maybe like a old school Jetsons car here. So we have the base shape of our head, the lines that we went straight up, and then curved out. And then again, just erase those extra lines. No big deal. All right, so we've got our base of our head. Now we want to work on our ears. So where that line is, right where we made that curve, it kind of comes across right about here. We're going to do a hill between those two lines. So kind of now looks like little bug antenna. Cute little bug antenna, actually. And then we're going to bring a curved, sloped line up. So basically another smile from that hill on both sides. Now you'll notice this side's a little bit shorter than that side. It's okay if I have a shorter ear. It's no big deal. And then I want to find where my collar is. And I'm going to bring that line and I'm going to curve it up to this point. I want it to be a nice big curve. So again, I can always adjust that. And if I go off the page, it's no big deal. I can fix that later, or I can redraw it if I want. But for now, we're just going to keep moving on. Go ahead and erase that line inside of Yoda's head. And I also want to go ahead and erase 2 more lines right here. I'm going to erase the line underneath that curve that I made for my ears about an inch long. And the reason for that is because we're going to make our ears look more three-dimensional by giving it a nice curve. So we have this line, and then we're going to go up and give a little hill, and we're going to follow that all the way to the edge. Again, I take that same line, I'm going to do a little curve and follow it all the way to the edge. So now it's kind of nice. I have like this nice shape, and I'm ready to work on my face. So I have my cute little chin here. This is going to be where I'm going to start my smile. I want to do a smile above my chin. I have this smile above my chin, and I'm going to pull up the sides a little bit on either side. Going to give it a nice cheeky smile. But we're going to fill this smile in, so I want to give each side a little hill. Give each side a little hill here. Now it looks like a mischievous smile, but don't worry, we're going to go down just ever so lightly, and then we're going to bring that curve back up and make a hill in between. Curve back up and make a hill in between, just like this. Now it looks kind of funny, right? Yeah, it does. Don't worry about it. We're going to fill it in with black later. And this is where we're going to do a hill on the inside of the mouth, which this part will become pink. This is the little tongue, and all of this will become black. We'll eventually put 2 rosy cheeks right here on either side of our mouth. And then right above that curve, let's just go ahead and make that more of a definitive curve here. We want to go ahead and draw a circle. Cute little circle, maybe an oval. And now is when we get to make our eyes. So kind of see right above our nose, we want to do like this little line. And if it helps, we can kind of take this line ever so lightly all the way out to our face, side of our face right here. And we're just going to draw some hills, and we want to leave this much space, like where the nose is, like right here, we want to leave that open. So I'm going to come up here, and I'm going to draw a hill and go to the edge. And you see me kind of chicken scratching this a little bit. 2 big hills, so again, that same spot, kind of going up and straight, and then over to the side. And now you know why we are definitely going to be utilizing that eraser today for all of those extra lines we do not want to keep. All right, now we want to move on to the shape of our eyes. We're going to do really cute kind of chibi style eyes here. On either corner, we're going to just do a slight curve. So now I have this slight curve. You notice I just drew on that really dark. I know I want to keep that line. The same thing with here. So I have 2 curves. And then I want to put a circle. And then I'm going to put a circle over here. Not here, because then it would be looking kind of like cross-eyed. So we want to put the circle over here. So our circles are going to go on the left side of the eyes, and that'll give it a cuter, more friendly smile. Then we want to finish with 2 lines that become eyebrows, some little bumps in our head, and maybe a few little hairs that we'll go over. All right, so make sure you like it the way it is. You can keep working on it. And then we're going to go ahead and move on to the body, the outfit of our person, which will be really, really cute. And you can come up with a different name if you'd like. I'd like Baby Yoda, even though I know that for those who really pay attention to this stuff, that his name is Grogu, so I get some conversations about that, but he just looks super squishy and adorable, so I like the name Baby Yoda. All right, so we're going to go ahead and work on the outfit now. We have the collar piece, so we're going to go ahead and give this a little line, and this is going to be more freestyle. So if yours doesn't look like mine, that's okay. You can kind of do it your own way. So right here from the edge of our collar, we're going to kind of bring this out like parentheses. A C and a backward C shape. And then we want to do an oval. And that oval is going to go right kind of underneath and kind of sideways. This is like the sleeve version of Grogu's little hands. I could make these a little bit bigger. I probably will, actually. They look a little small. And then I want to go ahead and do another oval underneath, which will be Baby Yoda's cute little hands. We're not making this like super serious. It's more of a cartoon version, so don't stress yourself out about making it look a certain way. Underneath his hand on both sides, we're going to go ahead and bring a line in, kind of curve it. Kind of looks kind of silly, but we're curving that. And that's going to help us bring our line down on each side. And it's going to kind of go out like a piece of dough or like a gumdrop. And we're going to come all the way down. You don't have to go all the way down to the edge of the paper. And there I have the base of my outfit. And I can change that if I'd like. So that line I made up here around the collar, I'm going to bring that down ever so lightly. Here we go. Now that's my outfit. I'm good to go. And I can now finish my Baby Yoda with my permanent lines. We all know that I prefer to do the eyes and the mouth first, so this class is no different. The reason I do that immediately is because I feel like it kind of makes the art that we are working on more fun, and the work we've already put into it, we can actually see what we have created. It makes it more fun. So this Sharpie is kind of losing some of its ink, so we'll just have to try to get through it with this. See, now we have that adorable little mouth. Now I'm going to come up to the eyes. Make sure I get that nice shape on both sides. We want to go over that circle because the circle is going to stay white and that little curved triangle is going to stay white on both sides. And then we want to fill in that eye. Like I said, this black Sharpie is kind of having some opinions. Let me see if I can find a better one. Okay, this is better. When I'm coloring a big space with Sharpie, sometimes I like to color in like these scribbles because it's easier to fill up the space and it doesn't matter if I go over it a couple times. It's more fun than just doing a bunch of straight lines too. And as long as I stay within the outline that I created, there's no harm in doing that. All right, one adorable eye is complete. Moving on to the second adorable eye. I just went over that because that other Sharpie is kind of gross and is losing some of its ink. So I just want to come over and make sure I get it all done. Make sure you get all those dots colored in. I'm going to just go over the mouth here too. That Sharpie was not my friend. So I'm just going to kind of color this in a little bit darker. And then you just want to kind of go over all those extra lines that you want to keep. One thing I want to do is I want to erase this line right above my nose. I will do a tiny little line with my Sharpie. I'm going to go over all of the elements that I want to keep. So now I'm going to go over my eyebrows, my ears, my outfit, and then I will give Baby Yoda a bath with my eraser, make all of those final lines, and then get your paintbrush in your water because then we're going to go ahead and paint him or color him. Whatever you are choosing to do today will be just fine. What happens if you get out of your lines when you're using your permanent marker? It's no big deal. So don't stress if that happens. It's kind of like if you're performing and you forget something and you just keep going, nobody knows unless you stop and then you get upset, right? So same thing goes with this. Nobody knows that you drew over your lines, so it's really like no big deal. Made my head nice and dark there because I drew over my lines. And I gave myself 3 pieces of hair because I think it's cute. Now I'm going to go ahead and finish my body. My little adorable chin here. Remember, that's where we started. And moving on to my, fashion outfit here, my potato sack outfit. That's what it looks like to me, if you've ever seen a potato sack. Yoda is fashion forward for sure with his clothing choices. It's a joke. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and make our little hands and those curves. This kind of gives the illusion that Baby Yoda or Grogu kind of has a body and it's underneath his potato sack fashion outfit. Voila. Baby Yoda, you are adorable. Let's give you a bath and color you and paint you and name you. Okay, don't forget to name your pieces. Just because it's Baby Yoda, you can come up with a different name. I mean, there are plenty of different things that have names that I think I could come up with. More creative names, so I bet you can too. Go ahead and give Yoda a bath here with that eraser. And your paintbrush should be in your water. and you should have any of the other materials that you want to use today available to you. Wipe that off. White erasers typically work really nice. And if you're having a hard time with the eraser, don't worry, because we're going to be filling all of this in. Actually, all of Yoda gets colored in today except for the white in his eyes. That's it. So everything else gets colored in. So before we paint, let's go ahead and give Yoda some super cute cheeks. Okay, so this Sharpie, I'll go ahead and show you this. I don't know if you guys can see it, but this Sharpie, it's like got some paint or something on it. I don't know if somebody got into it or if I did and I just don't recall, but it's really kind of ruined the integrity of this Sharpie. So basically it means that it doesn't work. So I'm going to put this in the no-go pile, and that's going to find a new home in the garbage, and I'm going to find a different marker that I think that will work out well. So I'm going to go ahead and use my Tombow alcohol markers. Is kind of the same thing. They are basically water resistant. They're very nice. They're one of my favorites to use. So I'll just have to use these instead. So I'm going to use these to make my cheeks. I'm going to use this to fill in my tongue. Now you could do this with crayon too. You don't have to have these permanent markers. You can do this with crayon. Let's say you don't have permanent markers at home. What do? But you have crayons. You can outline Baby Yoda in black crayon and do all of these elements in crayon and still paint him, and he will still look the same, because the crayon resists watercolor, because most crayon is wax based unless it's like beeswax, which still works. Okay, so if you feel like you can't do this because you don't have the Sharpie marker, you still can. You can just use those wax crayons and they will make everything work out wonderfully. Okay, so with this marker, this has kind of a brush tip, so I am doing those painful lines, those straight lines that I don't really enjoy making, but I also don't want to ruin the tip of this marker. So I'm just going to go ahead and use this, finish this up, and then I will get out my watercolors. Let's see, some of you might want to make your Baby Yoda not green. I don't know why you would do that, just kidding. If you want to make your Baby Yoda purple, you totally can. I'm going to go for a light green today. And sticking with the traditional Baby Yoda, I'm going to give him the beautiful brownish yellow color for his outfit today. All right, Baby Yoda is almost done, so I need to get those paints ready to go. Let's see, I have a dark green and I have a light green. I think the light green's prettier, so I'm just going to start with that. And in this type of painting, we want to do less is more, so a little bit of water and more color. That way we're in control and it's not dripping all over the place, okay? So having control when we're painting is really important. How we hold it like a pencil, like we're writing our name. It gives us more control over the paintbrush. And not using a ton of water gives us control over the color and making sure it doesn't go where we don't want it to go. So I can just paint over my eyes right here, but we want to make sure that we leave these two spots nice and white, because that holds the light in the eye and gives our Baby Yoda some character. Okay, character and personality. I'm going to go ahead and finish painting in my ears here, avoiding those white spots in my eyes. And then I will pick a color for the outfit. And I'm just going to paint right over my cheeks here. I don't have to paint around them. I'm just going to paint right over them. It's no big deal. I could paint over my mouth too, but I don't need to. But just go ahead and paint over those cheeks. Don't have to overthink it. And last but not least, we need his cute little hands. So we're going to make those green right here. And now we get to the fashion of his outfit. I'm using a ochre. It's kind of like a dark yellow color. It could be mixed between yellow and brown. If you don't have it, that's totally okay. Again, more color than water. We want to hold it like a pencil. That way we have control. You can tell that I used a lot of color and very little water because it's super strong. The color is like really strong. And that's what I wanted. I want it to pop off his green skin. It'll really highlight him and make his face vibrant and the focal point of the painting today. So I used an ochre, and now I'm going to use kind of like a brownish color. And I could always mix some of that ochre color in it to kind of make it a soft brown. And then I'm just going to take it along the edge of where I colored, so that permanent marker line. And I'll just paint right over those permanent marker lines that I made. And I'm using a round brush today. A round brush has a nice point. Flat brush would be a little bit more challenging, so round brush has a nice point. Okay, so you can use that, and you can get your brushes anywhere. Sometimes you'll notice that some of them fall apart a little bit faster, and when you start to really get into painting, you might want to get ones that don't, because that happens. But I still buy some and they still fall apart, so that's just the way it goes, I guess. All right, so I'm just going to bring in some water, move this color around a little bit, and then you can think about, do you want to do anything in your background? I did black in my background kind of to, you know, symbolize the darkness and the air on the different planets and space and all that stuff. I don't know. But you can do whatever you want in the background. I would just do a blotting of color, so you can decide what that looks like to you. If you want it to be more space looking, you could use blues and purples and pinks and blacks. That looks really a lot like galaxy colors, so that's kind of fun. You could actually take the ochre color that we used right here underneath his neck and on his like sleeves. That would really make him pop because it's such a nice color to highlight the green in his skin. So you could do that. In fact, I think I might do that today instead of doing the black, but you can do it how you want. All right, so I'm almost done with this. Just finishing up a few lines, a few bits of space. All right, I'm going to go ahead and clean my brush, and then I'm going to put some in that yellow. Then I'm going to come over here and just kind of wet my paper. So this is called a wet on wet technique. You take some water and you wet down your paper where you want this background to be. And the whole point is not to use like printer paper if you're doing that. If you're using printer paper, it'll kind of eat the paper and won't spread out very well because printer paper isn't as thick as like mixed media or watercolor paper. So don't do that necessarily if you are using, you know, the printer paper. And this should just kind of spread it out a little bit. You can just tap your paintbrush around your painting, and you can use more than one color. I'm just using this because I think it's it's a nice highlight color for him. It's not as dark as the black one that I started with was. Just kind of carrying it all over this piece. And you don't even have to have a background if you don't want to. You could always cut him out and put him on a piece of construction paper, and you could frame him if you want. So now I'm going to take some extra paint that I have and just kind of blot this extra color. It's a little bit darker than that paint that I originally put on there. And there you have it. Your very own Baby Yoda to hang out in your room. You can make a story with it. That's always fun, creating art and then creating a story to go with it. All right, so if you have something that you would like to learn how to do, you can always leave me a comment below and I can create a class to teach you. I hope you had a wonderful time and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.